Hey guys, I just put another video here on the progress on this Beretta I'm building. Part 6 I believe this is. I'm not sure right offhand. Briefly want to go over the step I'm on right now. I've got the doors notched. Those that follow on this on my forum or on RC Universe, whatnot, I mentioned I got to notch doors. I got them notched now to about 0.060 or thereabouts. I still got more notching to do to the doors yet, and that will be done on the back side as well as this top lip. Right now I got it set up. I got the upper and lower mounts done to support the fenders. Right now I got the hood just sitting up there. I got duct tape on the inside and outside. A piece of 1x2 underneath of it, a little bit added support. Just to get approximately where I'm going to need it at so I can start cutting the metal to make the windshield frame. That will run off of this lip here. That's why I designed this lip this way. Factory, that's how they actually come on the real thing. What I'll do here is this will be approximately about 1/4 of an inch. The inside, outside. This bottom lip will serve as the bottom lip to support the windshield. What I'll do then is when I'll cut a piece, it'll be elevated 1/4 of an inch. There's a total of 1/4 of an inch gap in between the window and the bottom of the frame. That will allow me for a 0.0125 rubber retainer gasket below the window and above the window. That will give me just under 1/4 of an inch. I'll have a little bit of play in there, so when I tighten the trim down, the trim's actually going to hold the windshield in. And on the top and the bottom there'll be bolts that running on the sides. Being that the side bolts would run right through the door channel here and protrude. What I'll probably do on that case, I'll either not put bolts on the sides, or I'll weld the nuts in the back side of the frame, and the heads will come through the bottom side here. Recess them with the heads. I'll do a flush mount head rather than a button head or a socket head cap screw. Same on this side, it's all done. I put in a support piece here as well. I still got to cut that piece is sticking off out of there. Unfortunately, working with metal, you got to be extremely careful. I've cut myself numerous times, and I'm sure there will be many more. Other than that, you can see pretty much where it's at. I got the hood, the scoop, everything on there. I started to mark that out as well so I can get the bonnet cut. I won't actually cut that until I get the frame all done where I can set the hood on there. Then I'll build the frame. It will run on the inside of the fenders here to support the sides of the hood. And that will be done the same as all the window frames are. It'll offer a 1/4 inch drop below it with the gaskets in between there. And there'll be tips that stick out from the frame that will support the aluminum interior that's going to dress up the engine compartment. As you can see here, this don't even come close to lining up. And that's just because it's not done yet. These fenders, if you look close at it, you can see this bowed out. On Beretta, they bow in straight in like that, and you'll see that front end goes back in. That's what I got these little notches in here for too. I have yet to bend that in further. This cap here, a little bit of gap difference. This is for the headlight to recess down in here. I won't do none of that though until I start working on the front bumper. once I get the bumper constructed, and start going from there. I'll work on that and pull that across. For the front bumper, there'll be a one-piece front end, a 6-point one-piece front end. The first 2 points, it will slide right up in here just like the real things do. It'll slide right up in there to that first notch, probably about 1 inch to 1.5 inches. And there'll be 6 points that come off of it. 2 of them will come off right in the center of the bumper. 2 other 2, one on each side, will come off right on the corner of the bumper. And then there'll be, I can go with 1 or 2 on the inside of the fenders. And that'll be flanged. I'm going to go with a solid 3/16. Cold rolled steel, I believe it is. I get a quite bit of it here. This is what it looks like, though. It's mild steel, 1018 round cold. That's 3/16, 0.1875. That's about where I'm standing on this right now. He is obviously starting to take shape. Hoping to get some mud on this thing for the first snowfall, hopefully. It stays relatively warm down here anyways. Got heater ducts that run off down here, so the cold won't affect me coming out here and throwing some mud on it and sanding it and whatnot. I am working on the other side of the basement a little bit here and there as well. Getting it all organized, cleaned up. I built me a mini side downdraft booth with a waterfall wall. Those that's not familiar with spray booths, there's a lot of high tech, if you will. Have a waterfall wall. What that does, it attracts the dust. Anytime you're spraying, obviously with the air coming out of your gun, it's going to kick up any dust that may be in a room or overspray or whatnot. And that water, the constant flow of water will attract that in order to suck it right into that water and prevent dust and dirt getting in your clear coat slash base coat, primer, anything you're spraying really. Primarily clear though, that's what you got to worry about. You can get away with a little bit of dirt in a base coat, depending on what color you're spraying. Dark colors, obviously, you can get away with quite a bit of dirt in it and just nub it before you clear it. White is another story, and yellow, anything that's bright. That's pretty much where it stands at. Another thing I thought I'd go over here, as you can see, is my wheelbase is off just a little bit from being in the center. I'm off probably close to a 1/2 inch of center. I'm either going to open up this wheel well further. That won't really affect the bumper on it. I'm either going to open up this wheel well a little bit further, or I'm just going to make new strut brackets. Eventually I want to make all new struts for it anyways, so I could just actually put the strut on an angle, and it's just all set in there loose right now. This is the old setup. I ain't going with none of this stuff on here when I get it done. I'll machine all the stuff. I can't show you the top of the brackets right now because the hood is on it, but that's all welded on, so if I have to, I could just cut that off, slide it back, weld it right back on, and I'm going to go with all new struts. I'm going to make all the struts and the springs and the coilovers, all new mounts. I'll do that on the CNC mill. Get them all drawn up in CAD and CAM and get them burgers all machined up. It'll be a while before I get around to doing that, but I thought I'd point that out to Any of you might have noticed that while moving the camera around here, because that is very obvious. The rear end, when I had the rear end in it, as far as it lining up with the wheel well, that's right on the money. No problems there at all. If I would have had any problems there, extending the 4 links, brackets itself is all would be necessary there. And I'm going to machine them as well out of aluminum. And I'll drill and tap them all out to size. I'll put a hex in it so it'll be easier to adjust that way as well. But that's where it stands at. She's starting to take shape. Hopefully I keep progressing on this. And before long have some mud on this thing. And quite possibly right around fall, or spring, excuse me, I'll have that booth all done on the other side of the basement and everything. I'll probably put a group of videos together on that as well. Just doing these basically for people that's not familiar with fabricating. The same with the booth. It's not familiar with how to construct a downdraft booth like that. It's not that hard to do at all, really. Especially a miniature one. It won't be, but probably about the same size as this whole room, so it'll be a walk-in booth where I can have all my parts hanging. And spray, I'll have the whole wall 12 feet long or so. Water running down the wall, plastic on the inside of it, so the water's not actually on the wall, runs on the plastic. As I mentioned, I'll put together a group of videos on that too. Probably about 1st of spring. Hopefully I'll have this bad boy all the body work done. Get it in the booth, acid etch prime the whole thing. That's going to be a bit tricky because that's some stanky stuff. Obviously I got respirators, full air supply suits and whatnot, but get some primer on this baby. Until then, take it easy.